Quick run through of the biochemistry lecture. You probably can't read this. This just is for me. This is the Biochem exam 4 on vitamins. Starting off here, we have thiamine, which is B1, and its function is for metabolism. Apparently, it's an enzyme cofactor. It's for like pyruvate dehydrogenase, alpha ketoglutarate, those sorts of things. And you can get it from eating wheat germ, whole grain, yeast, and dairy. And next we have cobalamin, which is the way for B12, and its function, I guess its source rather, is that it's from bacteria that you get it in like seafood quite a bit, like clams and crab and salmon. Somebody is going to develop a deficiency possibly from taking drugs that are proton pump inhibitors such as metformin. Also vegans can get this because typically we get it from like seafood, and they can develop pernicious anemia if they don't get it, which is a bad thing with your blood. And in order to digest it, we need something called intrinsic factor, which is released from our parietal cells, and that helps to trap and store the B12. There's something called the folate B12 trap hypothesis, which is essentially that there's this cycle that breaks down methyl trihydrofolate into TH4, and in order to do that, we need methyl tetrahydrofolate reductase, and that enzyme requires B12. So we can't do that. We can't develop the important molecules that we need. Next we have niacin, which is B3, and this one is apparently associated, its function is with some of these redox reactions, NAD+, NADP, those ones. People who have a deficiency of niacin B12 will develop pellagra, which is rough skin. Typically, a lot of times, alcoholics, AIDS patients, people with anorexia will get that. Next, we have vitamin A, which functions or has a function with vision, growth, immune system, tissue repair. A deficiency of it, you might get Ballot spots, which are these yucky things on your eyes, and develop like night blindness, immune problems, a lot of other things associated with what it does. You can get vitamin A from animal sources or from plant sources. If you get it from the animal sources, it's going to be a already formed vitamin, so they call it preformed, and that actually can develop and be toxic in your body if you have too much of it. Whereas if you get it from the plant sources, that's a provitamin, and that's not toxic apparently. And your body can just rapidly turn it into the formed kind if it needs it. Next, vitamin D. Vitamin D, we're thinking calcium and phosphorus homeostasis, as well as a lot of other things that calcium does in your body. Vitamin D helps you store the calcium better. If kids don't have a vitamin D, they can develop rickets. Adults stop taking it or don't have enough, they can get bowed legs. It can cause osteomalacia. And where you get this is from sunlight and oily fish and liver and that sort of thing like that. I'm going to try to draw some pictures up here to think what you can think of. So for this one, for thiamine B1, I'm going to draw this wheat berry, and this wheat berry here is going to help you remember berry, and also that you get it from wheat germ. And how am I going to remember thiamine? Maybe at the bottom of the wheat berry, I'm going to draw this B for berry, but also for B1. So you kind of see maybe a B in the base of that. And hopefully if she puts B1, she also puts thiamine. Hopefully that just kind of goes together. Next, for B12, I'm going to draw a fish. And there's a lovely fish. Help you remember this comes from seafood. And the way you can remember B12 is, I have no idea. You can remember B12. I don't know. You'll remember that. Everybody knows B12 comes from fish. Okay. Next, we have niacin, which is B3. This comes from nuts and legumes and meats. So the way I'm going to remember this is I'm going to draw a can of salted peanuts and that B3, you could think, I'll just put B3 under the nuts, and maybe you'll remember that the NIA kind of looks like Na, which is what for sodium. So maybe that'll help you think of nuts. I don't know. That's a stretch. And next we have vitamin A. Goodness, I'm tired. Sorry, I woke up at 4. Vitamin A, and there's an I. Here's the weird blot spot on the I. So that's a way of remembering that. Vitamin D. We have, I'm going to draw a bone down here. There's vitamin D. So hopefully that'll be ways to remember all those.